I'm gonna just make a video here, and you can clearly see when I adjust my voice box. This is me adjusting the testosterone in my brain. This is me adjusting the estrogen in my brain. Now this is me changing my voice box. My voice box, you could clearly see a difference. This is me changing my voice in my voice box. You could clearly see a difference. And then this is me adjusting the testosterone in my brain. This is me adjusting the estrogen in my brain. You can see how my voice box isn't shaking as much. Now this is me changing my voice box with my voice box alone. And you can clearly see reverberation. If a doctor or nurse was to feel my box, voice box, they would feel a difference when I was, once again, this is testosterone and this is estrogen. They would feel a difference each time I did that compared to when I changed it with my voice box, with making the sound come from my voice box. It reverberates more. You can see it shaking on film. So I'm just going to show you here. I guess I don't have to do what I just did, because I just filmed this video and the government just I may have inadvertently deleted it. They could have hacked me to do that, but I'll just show you here. But this is my foot here, so you can see my ankle right there, then you can see a bone right there, and then you can see a ridge right there. I have another bone. This is my foot. I'll just zoom in. So once again, this is my ankle. You can see right there. You can see a bone right there. And then you can see how it goes in like that. So I have different feet bones in my feet than any other human. And I can prove this at any point in time. And so this is from yesterday here. So you'll see. So watch right at the beginning. You can see how it's brighter, and I'll just show you a picture of it where it was even brighter than that. So when I say I'm going to change color, look to the left and right of it. Look to the left and right of it, and you'll see how all of a sudden when I say I'm unhacking it, you'll see how it gets red to the left and right of the scar where it does change color, and it gets lighter. You'll see, because this is technology that's causing me to age. So once again, I'll show you a picture where this. Well, first I'll show you a picture of it where it was more noticeable, the scar. But you can see how white the scar was right in this picture. Anyways, you can see how white the scar was there. So it's considerably different than that anyways. And you'll see, let's see, 1 second here. So I wanted to catch them off guard. So I'm going to show that the scar on my cheek has disappeared. It was right about here. And you'll see how it is in some other videos, but I had to catch them off guard because every time I pull out the camera, they're able to hack the scar to reappear on my face, and they don't like that. Watch my eye drop when I tune those people in. They didn't like that that I'm proving the proof, and I just started the drool right here. So that's how they drug me with chemical electrolysis. But I'll just show you here that video under Moby's End. So watch once again, watch the left and right of the scar. Like, see right now, it's not red to the left and right of the scar, but right before I take the picture, you'll notice how, I'll play it twice, you'll notice how it gets red before I'm able to unhack the scar. So right now, like at 3 seconds, like right now you don't see it, it's not red, but at 3 seconds, like, so now pay attention to here, I'll play it again twice, so you can time it at 3 seconds, but at 3 seconds it starts to get red on the left and right of the scar, and then I'm able to unhack it.
I wouldn't think I could do this either, but I'll just show you proof. Like this is when look at my eyes. My eyes are two different colors, like this eye and this eye, because this one eye is controlled by Canada, one eye is controlled by America. That's why they look different. And my eye looks like I look like an android because they have nanotechnology on my eye like my eyes without against my will. That's why they try to make me say nanotechnology on my eye cameras. I wouldn't want to have eye cameras on and be violated. And I don't have any wrinkles under my eyes. And this was January 2nd, 2025. And a few days later, this all disappeared. But once I came in the hospital, because when I smoke, two people, their initials are AB and TL. I bummed the smoke off one of them and, a couple times, and they're like, oh, don't start smoking again. And as soon as I did, I started getting more wrinkles because, they contribute to it. And, but the government routes like 150 kilotons of pollution towards me to age my biology. They chemically mutilate me in Canada. So I'll play the rest of the video here, you'll see it. Oh, this is in the video. But once again, you can see how I had a scar right there. Like the bottom part of how white it was there, but in the video I just played, it wasn't white because I was able to unhack it on film. And I did this in front of my son as well. And in this particular video, like this one, this is May 27, 2025 at 4:19 p.m. And you can see how it's not white right there. I just have a crease in my hand, and I'll just show you from later on that day at 10 p.m. May 27th. I'll just show you. This is May 27th, 2025 at 10 p.m. Same day. And you can see how how the scar is white down here and then white right there. And it looks like at 25. It's because it's the year 2025. That's why the scar happens. And then, so here's where it doesn't look like I have the scar on my face anymore. And here's where you could clearly see the scar on my face right there. When I zoom in right there, you can clearly see a chunk of skin out of my face. And let's see. So anyways, this is what a typical back muscle looks like. You can see those indentations. This is this guy, and then this is my back muscle. You don't see any indentations because I have a V because I have evolved human biology. I'm generation 2. My kids are generation 1.5, and that guy that I showed to the left of the picture was generation 1. So here was a royal invitation. You can see where it says Princess, the Princess Louise, and so this was in 1894. My dad had servants, my grandfather had servants, and my great grandfather had servants, and so we used to party with royal families. And at this particular occasion or whatnot, this ball, it was a royal ball. They bedded one of the royals, and or they have many times beforehand. So on the back of the invitation, I seen a name, and it was Colin Campbell. He looks like my mom's brother, me, and my dad, and my brother and my son. And Queen Victoria, her oldest daughter, was Augustus Victoria. This is what she looked like as a child. This is what my daughter looks like as a child. So once again, that's what Augustus Victoria looked like as a child, and this is what my daughter looks like as a child. Right, so this is Ludwig the First. This looks like my mom's brother, my Uncle John, and Field Marshal Colin Campbell. And this looks like his wife. Well, this looks like his sister, my Uncle John's sister, my Aunt Liz. And this was his Ludwig the First wife, Therese. And so my aunt and uncle look like the king and queen of the emperor of Bavaria. And so Augustus Victoria, her husband is Frederick III. That's what he looked like there. And when my dad's head was to the side, he looked identical to this man. I'll just show you a picture of my father right now. This is what he looks like. And in the future, I might be able to find my photo album, so I'll find a better picture, a side profile of my dad. He's deceased now. I'm not going to take a picture of him. I would take a picture of him. But my dad looked identical, and the nose is almost the same, identical, right? So and then I looked like, anybody that see me, I look like Edward VIII, like identical. Like at a certain age when I was younger, I looked like this. And I look like Marcus Aurelius. So I'll just show you a picture of me. Or, because I'm a little older now, so I'll just show you a picture from Facebook. Or I looked out more like it. I'm just going to transfer this over here. So once again, it's easy for me to show the proof that I have different bones in my feet than any human would have. And I have different bones in my sternum. And I have 2 pectoral muscles. You know, I'm just going to go to the washroom again and I'll show you the 2 pectoral muscles. Because in Canada, anybody could use hearsay. Hearsay is like you hear a story. Right? So in Canada, anybody could use hearsay to say somebody is a threat to themselves or another person, and then they could be sent to the mental health ward to be evaluated, and then the doctors try to keep you there by not allowing your cell phone and for a period of time, and they didn't allow me to have an x-ray to prove that I have unique bones, and they said I had grandiose beliefs. And because of being Wi-Fi currency, basically a whole bunch of money that's packed together. They just say somebody had $50,000 cash, and they were about to buy some cocaine. So then all of a sudden there would be like, say, that much money together, paper money together. It would be encrypted on the internet. They would be Wi-Fi currency. So it would go on the internet, and the spies would know, and the cops would know that there's a large amount of money in one location. So now just say they could track it with their GPS. And so just say they're under the bridge, or they're at a suspicious location where there shouldn't be that much money. They would know that criminal undertakings were happening at that point. I posted this online 5 years ago, and they never utilized this strategy. You know, I said Wi-Fi currency, right? They should have been able to piece it together, but people aren't the smartest, unfortunately. But I've been told by 2 people I'm the smartest person on the planet. I came first out of 8,000 in the poker tournament, came first out of 1467 in the poker tournament, came first out of 1252 in the poker tournament. So I won 3 tournaments with over 1,000 people in poker. I put a guy on a straight flush. There's 2 straight flush possibilities. There's a 4 of a kind, 3 full houses, 1 3 of a kind, and 3 2-pair possibilities. The odds were 1 in 25.6 million. Like Doyle Brunson, he played like 40, 50 years at the casino. He would have had to live for 14 lifetimes to play that many times for that situation to occur. And I filmed it on film. I posted 159 poker videos to try to get staked in poker tournaments, and the government suppresses me because I'm the true king. So once again, so here is my unique pectoral muscles. You can see those ridges right there. There's my sternum that I have right there. And then this one's a bit tough to see. So I put it down here. I said that was somebody hijacking my body. Like my thoughts here. So here's my muscle. Now watch when I flex it. You see how it goes up like that? So there's my pectoral muscle. See how it goes? Because I got 2 muscles right there. I got 2 muscles that no other man has on the planet, like possibly my son. And the government's not giving me an X-ray, an ultrasound, and a positron emission tomography. They have a censorship bill in Canada. So when I put a guy on a straight flush, once again the odds were. So they're just hacking me here. So I'm just going to show you some bunch of subliminal. So there's my unregistered right there. Get all my perpetrators right now. And then there's another system proving that I was going to protect all this May 30th, 2025. And then I'll follow it up right there. And so that's the attempted breach inside it. Once I'm king, I'm going to be able to high treason. So anyways, so the government's not allowing me to protect myself. So once again, this is me adjusting the testosterone in my brain, and you can see my voice box isn't shaking like this. This is me adjusting the estrogen in my brain. But now this is me changing that to my voice in my voice box, and you can see how considerably it's shaking in my voice box. So once again, this is the testosterone, estrogen. And now this is me changing the voice in my voice box. So you can see how much it shakes and reverberates when I'm changing it consciously in my voice box compared to changing the chemicals in my head. The doctor said I was bipolar. So bipolar, you're like, wow, I'm super happy. Then, oh no, and they start crying. That's bipolar. You have super highs, super lows. None of my videos have ever exhibited any of these characteristics. Like, you know, they hospitalized me. They were using evidence from like 5 years ago. Like one, I was like this. I was in Denmark. And I was like, mentalist, maybe not. I'm like, watch this, I can stop cars with my mind. Right? So I stuck in my hand. So clearly the car wouldn't hit me because I put up the stop sign. I'm like, hey, stop. Right? They're not gonna hit me. Right? So then the doctor's like, he said he could stop cars with his body. Right? They use song lyrics against me. They use social media posts from a different year, right, against me. And for instance, my sister, like, I got a tattoo on my arm. So she said that I had a tattoo on a different arm and a different tattoo. So she said that I was missing because I had 4 phones stolen since September 2024. Like, I didn't share a bathroom or kitchen with my landlord. Right, so I got kicked out and I called the landlord. Well, before I got kicked out, I called the landlord tenant board. And that was 2 specific things that was a criteria, right, that I didn't have. Right, so then I go to the police station. He threw out all my stuff on the ground. So I go to the police station so I could get back into my house, right? And he's like, the cop's like, you were part of the Innkeepers Act. Right, and I'm sarcastic right now, right? And sign of a healthy mind. But it's like, you're part of the Innkeepers Act. And I'm like, no, I'm not. Like, I called the landlord tenant board. I'm like, how long have you been a cop? He's like, 20 years. I'm like, did you ever call the landlord tenant board? And he's like, no. Well, 7402, I'm going to litigate against you because I've been homeless for almost a year now. Right? I don't get a home. Not only would I have not gotten kicked out, I get to sue my landlord. I have video proof that I would lose my voice at home and then I would recover. Like, when I first moved in, they had chairs, like a smoking section, but they couldn't sell cons in the subliminal system, so they start stashing the chairs. I didn't have reasonable enjoyment in my house. Not only it would have taken months to go to court with the landlord tenant board, I would have sued and won, and I'm possibly going to get his house. He had to redo the flower bed because they couldn't get cons on me because they tried to exploit my evolutionary attributes. I knew I was going to get that house because it's right by Prince Edward and like Cook Street. Right, so they were supposed to help restore my lineage, but they didn't do that. He's pretending he's a Rosicrucian, but the guy drove like a 20-year-old truck. He pretended he was a cop. His wife was like, please do not put the foods in the fridge that aren't belong to you. Okay, you sound like you're a grade 3 student because anybody in Canada would say, please do not put the foods in the fridge that don't belong to you. That's proper grammar, right? So they allow people that can't even speak own property, but they allow somebody like me that's been told by 2 people I'm the smartest person in the world. So I told you with Wi-Fi currency, that eliminates all crime. It stops the bribe, stops government politicians from getting envelopes of money. That's why they don't legalize it. It stops corrupt politicians, right? And it stops organized crime. So not only that, I'm not a rocket scientist, right? But no rocket scientist ever that put a satellite in outer space ever put a magnetic field around a satellite. Which would protect it from coronal mass ejections and solar flares. So the sun kind of burps every once in a while. It has these flares. And the last time it hit Earth was in the 1800s. It knocked out all the telegraph wires and caught them on fire when we were doing Morse code, right? So it would change life as we know it would be done because we're so heavily relying on the internet that the old infrastructure is gone. Like, so civilization would be pretty much like, it'd be anarchy. Right, and they haven't put a magnetic field around satellites to protect our civilizations because they're fucking idiots. So anyways, another thing they didn't do is, at my suggestion, because I was sure of this, and I was like this, I'm like, since women are more sensible, I was doing that stuff because they made me look like I was 1,000 pounds, right, because, whatever, because I got this natural voice that could emasculate them and, whatever, and I'm funny, right. So anyways, what they could do is they could put satellites around planets in the solar system, which would look for asteroids that are coming towards Earth, particularly from the direction of the sun. Because if it's come from the direction of the sun, just say my face there, it's come like that. We have very little time, very little notice because it's like this. We come from the light. By the time it came from I'm trying to get it on my camera here. There it is. So I'll show it right there. So by the time it came from the light, the sun, we would have only a few months to be able to send up a rocket, because then once we send it up, it'd break up into pieces, and then it would still hit Earth and possibly destroy us, right? So somebody hacked me there to say Earth, right? Because I talked about my landlord, how she said aren't belong to you. She even, another thing she said was, please do not put the foods in the microwave. Like, in her mind, she has 2 foods. I only put food in the microwave. I never put foods in the microwave. She's a fucking idiot. And she just dropped me now, so once again, hi treason bitch. Like, you shouldn't be aware of my thoughts. Computer-assisted health is possible. I'm going to show that at the end of this video. Our thoughts are just sounds that people could hear at a lower frequency. Well, our thoughts are just sounds at a lower frequency, and they could bounce signals off your molar. And our brains are made up of water. Our body's made up of water. So they bounce signals off any dental work, and then it highlights regions of the brain, and they know that there's frequencies, and they could transmit and receive. You know what else transmit and receive signal, audio signal? The fucking radio, right? So George Orwell wrote a book called 1984 and 1949 about the thought police. Cheap Trick wrote a book about the dream police. You know, the liberals, they dream condition and they rigged the election. That's how the liberals got reelected. You know, they rigged elections. So anyways, so the thought police, dream police, and so I'll just show you the technology, the proof that computer-assisted health is possible. So my former landlord, her name's Kim, she will be, that's high treason. She drugged me. That's attempted regicide. I'm going to be the true king. I'll just show you here. So once again, there's Field Marshal Colin Campbell. Here was a royal invitation that my family went to, which his name is on the back of. I looked at it. He looks like me. He looks like my uncle and my dad. And then here's some of the technology that they can administer like via the internet. Some of the technology, and people can communicate over the computer, but nowadays with nanotechnology you don't require surgery. And the band 100, this patent, if you search it up online, would reveal this, and you can see how it's an older patent. It has an antenna on the cell phone, so this was before smartphones, where people were able to put on, see what your glucose is doing, see what your vision's doing, your hearing, your EEG, ECG, toxins, blood pressure. And this is all technology that the government's denying. And in the Charter of Rights, there's a freedom of thought because the government knows they can listen to your thoughts. So I was formed on May 5th, and I'll just show you here how it says Friday, May 9th, 2025, sent from Brandy Diggins, my sister. And so anyways, you know, she formed me 4 days, like the letter was from her 4 days after I was already hospitalized. And here, if you type in computer assisted telepathy YouTube, it's going to show you all these videos, how they could use technology to see and hear your thoughts. And in Canada, the Charter of Rights, there's freedom of thought as part of a freedom of expression and conscience. So they specifically had to say freedom of thought in 1982 because, you know, I made them because I'm the true king. They used part of my mind, my subconscious, to run the planet. In December 13th, 2024, they stopped following my organic directive. And here is my king's DNA, except for the white area. I have genetic relations. So I have African, I'm a Asian, I got North American, South American, European, Oceanic. And I'm the only human that I've seen that didn't have numbers in those columns. And those are the kings and emperors and emirs and sultans. DNA markers. You know, I charm queens and princesses. And this is how mutilated my face was with chemical electrolysis. This was January 2nd, 2025. And it changed slightly after that. And once again, this is what the average back looks like. Those are the indentations. And this is what my back looks like. You can see I don't have any indentations. Once again, I'm going to zoom in right here. I don't have any indentations. You don't see any indentations right there. You don't see any indentations because I'm the true region. My name's Christian Aragoni Meyer. And Stephanie Meyer wrote a book about the parasitic aliens in 2008. And I'm talking, like, I'll just show you the book here. She wrote a book right here. Stephanie Meyer, the exact same spelling as my last name, wrote a book about parasitic aliens in 2008. When I Google searched my name, it made me stumble across this as a clue in 2018. So once again, you can see how the scar was like this. And at the beginning of the video, I showed you how the scar changed when I unhacked it with my mind. And I have the scar on my face. I'll just show you right here. You can see the scar on my face right there. So I cannot purchase right now. But you can see the scar on my face right there. That was different when I caught them off guard. And Canada does not allow me to get X-ray and ultrasound and a positron emission tomography that would clearly prove that I have unique biology. And then the reason why they're not doing this is because you know, it made me the true king of anywhere where there's a monarchy. And I sought asylum in 2019, and once again, they lost almost $100 billion in 2020 because I sought asylum in 2019. But Canada doesn't realize I don't have to leave the country. I could go to Ottawa. Ottawa's our nation's capital. They have a bunch of embassies in Ottawa, so they could smuggle me out of Canada. And then boom, I just give them biologically immortal kids because I'm super salacious. I need an abacus to add up all the bullshit I deal with daily. You need to be smart for that. An abacus adds up things. Right, so I'm funny. I write Grammy-worthy songs. Like you could just look online. Like I wrote a couple country songs that could win Grammys. I wrote a couple hit R&B songs. And it's the first time I played hardball. I was 15, and I competed against people that were playing since T-ball for the tournament team. It was $2,000 in the 90s, and house league was $60. My parents were on social assistance, so I didn't even ask my parents. I just went home and said, "Hey, Dad, sign me up for house league." My grandfather turned down a professional baseball contract. My dad got drunk the night before he had a professional hockey contract tryout when there was only 6 teams. When I was 19, I had an opportunity to go to New York and try out for modeling. They told me that there would be 20 to 50 modeling magazines that would be able to choose me, but they said I was too muscular and I didn't want to starve myself. Right? I wanted my brain to be known rather than my beauty. And so when I played baseball, 15, my very first season, I got called up to play against 21-year-olds, 6 years older than me. I would have did it if I would have known that Mickey Mantle's birthday was on October 20th. That's my birthday. They made me born on my dad's birthday because we're the true king. And because Jesus' birthday was, like they say it's December 25th, but that's with the Julian calendar. But the Gregorian calendar accounts for leap year. So the Julian calendar didn't account for leap year. So they thought it was 365 days a year. But technically there's 365.25 days in a year. That's why there's leap year every 4 years. So with the Gregorian calendar, if you do the math, over 2,000 years, his birthday was October 20th. That's why the Japanese emperor's mom's birthday is October 20th, right? She looks like my mom, right? I look like Emperor Meiji. I forgot to do it, but I look like the North Korean leader's father. I look like the South Korean leaders, like a lot of the presidents. My grandfather looked like Mao Zedong. Like they made it so I was related to everybody important, so nobody would kill me because I have evolutionary DNA. Like my son is the best soccer player on the planet. He should be in FIFA. He should be like worth $1 billion. He should be making like say $200-300 million a season. He's way better than Ronaldo or Messi combined. He's so good that they were forcing me to evolve, and they wanted him to play with like 10 teammates on his team rather than the 12 that they typically have. That's how good my son is. Like you'll see in the future. Like it's whether or not he chooses to play soccer because he's going to dominate the field so much.